the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. The Northwest Race Report is brought to you by O'Hagan's Kart Supply, Lebanon, Oregon. You want to win? O'Hagan's wants to help. And by True Tech Automotive, Hazeldale, Washington. Get your car, truck, or tow rig repaired the right way, the True Tech way. And by Scott Seal Coat and Striping, Federal Way. For over 25 years, whether you're sealing or striping, you can count on Scott. And by Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, Speed City LLC, keeping racers on track with quality support and friendship. You're tuned in to the Northwest Race Report exclusively at terrybridges.com. And now back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Oh, what is going on, racers? I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges, and sitting in with me is my main man, Mr. Glenn Lippy Tower. What's going on, Lip?
It's all fair to Midland today.
And he asked if he still knew us, because he's been lonely without us. The loader, Jeff Eden. What's going on, bro?
Man, I've just been missing shows.
I know, right? I'll tell you, the trip was good. The drive was long.
Long, brown, and long.
Yes. Well,
the wheels fell off right away.
Turn one, we lost the right front big time, and that spindle is dug into the dirt.
Woo!
Yeah, it was I mean, hey, let's face it. The motorhome is the only way to travel.
Yeah, it's a limo.
It is. The thing is so nice. However, last Wednesday night we did the show on the road, and it was full of police officers. So Shane kept saying, "Put that down,
Get down,
Lippy, get back, Terry, get your seatbelt on." And so, but honestly, by the time we got, I don't know about Lip, but by the time we got to, we pulled into Arizona right before we got there, all I could think about was getting out of that thing. Mm-hmm. I wanted out bad. Yeah, it was. Although the ride home seemed maybe a little quicker. I don't know. Did it?
You slept a lot, so it was maybe quicker to you. But
But still,
that's a good way to do it. If I had my druthers, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Is sleep.
Well, I wanted to sleep up above the thing. I don't know why you can't do that, but I guess it's a law or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's against the law.
Why? You can walk around in the stinking motorhome, but you can't lay down in the bed?
Yeah, because the one up above, if you crash, you're smashed. That's what their deal is. We used to ride around in a camper. My mom and dad had a camper.
Same here.
Man, we'd given everybody thumbs up and hooping truckers.
Yeah, isn't that
crazy? Now it's illegal.
Yeah, I know.
Just like riding in the bed of a truck. We did that a lot as a kid, too. You can't do that now.
That was the biggest deal ever, was going. I remember going, like, we had to go to the dump or something, and we get to ride home in the back of the, I mean, that was a big deal.
Big deal. It was like tops on the lid.
Yeah. I mean, but we also used to run with scissors and drink out of the garden hose and eat dirt, and, we're still here.
Rode bicycles without a helmet.
Yeah. I mean, you should have seen some of the Joey Chitwood stuff we did with bicycles. I mean, we'd be hung today by today's standards, but
woohoo.
Anyway, wow. We got a lot to cover tonight. Let's see who's in on the chat line. Ooh, the Clarks are here. Boy, what a weekend for the Clarks, baby, huh?
Yes, sir.
Look at Sean Holbert is P1. Can you believe that?
Tim Chase is 2 and Ronnie Cox is 3. They're bringing it.
Wow. Well, the Rocket, poor guy. We'll get into that.
Yeah, one of the best looking cars out there that weekend.
Yeah, absolutely was. But our guest tonight, obviously, is our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest is going to be none other than Mr. Ryan Diotti. However, I will tell you, we had to do a recording this morning because he has a class, I guess, for work that he had to do tonight. And so, but what he told me was, I'm gonna try to sneak some headphones into class so I can listen in. So now we're we're encouraging bad things in school.
Oh my
We've
God!
always done that.
But anyway, and then quickly, I came home, and, it was a stack of mail there, and I open it up, and I get this cool letter from Becca Clark. She's starting her little thing, and I'll pass it around, but, her name is Queen Bee, and it's here, it says, be cool, B, like the letter B, cool, join my hive. Here are the rules. In order to be a part of Queen Bee's hive, you need to agree to be kind, be fearless, be cool, be compassionate, believe in you, be your best, be honest, and be friendly. I'm going to mess up at being all these things, and so are you. So, most of all, we need to be forgiven. That's it. Welcome to my hive. It's for the kids, and that's part of her new racing little deal that she's got there. And I'll pass it around and let you guys see it. But what a cool thing to come home to. And then she gave me, and I'll have to get you guys one. It says, Buzzin' with Queen Bee. I'm in the hive. It's got the little arm bracelet on there. What a unique and cool idea.
Yeah, I give her the old, the night when before she went and I had tweeted her there, and I give her the old bunch of bees across the bottom.
Oh, you did? Yeah, so cool. And she had a stellar weekend, but we'll get into that for sure. But yeah, Ryan Diotti going to be our guest tonight. Boy, just a lot of stuff happening. Jeffrey, I mean, on the late model scene too as well. I mean, Zamora gets the title, first female and forever to win a championship, but that's pretty cool. I don't know. I thought it was anyway.
Oh, without a doubt, but there was somebody else chasing her.
Schimmel, yeah.
Brooke was leading, hit the wall, went to the back, blew a tire, went to the back. And finished up in the top three.
Well, you know what we do know? Andy Soul didn't win it, like he said he was gonna. Although he did run pretty good. But let's get into it because we got a ton of stuff.
Full show tonight.
Yeah, we sure do. So let's get into it. It's the Tees and Tops 2017 UAS Grand National Report. Of course, Matt Fontaine and Tees and Tops. I'm telling you, racers, if you need T-shirts or hats or does he do embroidery? He does a little bit of everything. But Lippy bought a shirt, and he did the Grand National shirts for the this year's UAS Grands, and they were nice. I mean,
I love both of them. The Fontaine shirt was awesome. He thinks that he tricked me into it, but I was more than happy to buy it. It was a cool shirt.
Yeah, it was cool. So Tees and Tops, you can hit him up on Facebook, Matt Fontaine, or you can go to www.bulldogshirts.com. I would advise you to give him a check first before you invest in a bunch of T-shirts, because I think he's got a fairly good price point.
Yeah, it definitely does. And even if you want to pick up this year's shirt from the Nationals, hit him up. I think they're gonna go down. Because he's got a few of them. So give him a shout out and see what kind of deal he's got on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of what's the Grand National, so we went down. We were there Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's 3 good days of racing, or not 3 good days of racing, but 1 good day of racing, good day of practice.
3 good days in town.
The weather was stellar.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Couldn't ask for a better trip.
Nope. You're 100% right. So, yeah. How'd it go down? Well, first of all, we go to practice. What'd you think of that?
Practice was as good as it gets. The groove wasn't that wide, but we didn't have any racing on it beforehand, so they worked their tail off. It started narrow and grew as the night went on, so we kind of expected that, and it was what we expected. As soon as the sun set, the grip came in, and the groove started working down, and they started moving the cones down, but with only 4 hours of practice, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't. It was really good. I got some really good footage. I don't know why, but I just like it down low where you can actually see the speed of them blazing by. So if you go by the Northwest Race Report Facebook page, you can check that out. So then Lippy and I, we kind of had some practice to do because we were going to do the audio, but then we said, wow, God, everybody keeps saying, are you going live? Are you going live? Are you going live? So we decided we were going to try something new. So we set up, I had this hoopty tripod, and it was a hoopty, let me tell you. And put the phone on it, and I broke the leg. Lippy says, we should just leave the leg, where it is. And I said, I know, but snap. He says, see, you broke it. And so I got the piece.
Told you so.
Yeah. He said, I told you to leave it alone. It's like, well, I was trying. So we get going. So we then we fumble around trying to get a mic, right? Because we both obviously needed one, but
we tried everything.
We did. So we ended up using the selfie stick that we got at Walmart for $5, and we taped it around the thing, and we just sort of stuck it in between us. Believe it or not, it picked up pretty good.
It did. It really did work good for shooting it through the phone and having the selfie stick with a little teeny mouth mic on it. Not our usual studio mics on it that sat in between us. For makeshift and everything we came up with that day, which you came up with as I was out being mischiefly, it all worked out good. I mean, we can only get better from there.
Absolutely. So
you being the social director is what you're saying?
No. He had rental car stuff to handle, and boy, that was a nightmare.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to tell Shane Biles we couldn't do it Sunday morning till 9:00. Are you going to? I'm not telling him.
Yeah.
Are you? Well, geez, he's going to be so mad. So anyway, so we did that, and I think for just makeshifting it, like you said, it worked pretty good.
It did.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We brought it to, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry were videoing it, so somebody was going to get it somehow, some way. But so it ended up they lost the transponders didn't work, so there was all kinds of stuff going on there. So they qualified, and there it is, Queen Bee, and they used 3 stopwatches, and they averaged the 3. Go figure that, What's weird is we had Diotti, we were hand time, and we had Diotti within a 100th or whatever, and we had Lawrence right on. But at when it's all said and done, Brad Berg was fast time with an 11:48. I don't know. Was he that fast? I don't know. But it doesn't matter. He was fast time. 11:48. 53. They're posted up there. I mean, it was crazy. They got in the 12th and went a 12-0, an 0-2, an 03, an 04, an 18, a 20, a 21, a 25. I mean, a 30, a 34, a 50. I mean, it was crazy how close it was.
And that's the way it was in Friday night, because we were running the stopwatch on them on Friday night, and everybody was between a 12 and a 12.5. I mean, the whole field was right in there at that 12 and 12.5. So they were all just real close.
Yep. And they were going to do 6 for the dash, but they decided to go with 4. Well, what did that do? That put our own Rocket Ronnie Cox out of the deal, and he had to run the heat race or whatever, which he won.
Yep, handily.
Yep, and he looked good.
He did look
the UCR C High Performance Ultramax rival was bolted.
Flying.
It was flying. So they get through all that, and when it's at the end of the day, the way it all worked out was Diotti was on the pole, and Lawrence was on. Was he the outside of the second or front row? I think he was. Tim Lawrence was stellar.
Yeah. Is my sleeper for the weekend.
No kidding, because it was the quietest second you've ever heard. If you weren't on the grid or you didn't see him there, you wouldn't know he was there. That's how quiet those guys were. They just kind of went in, did their business. Even in practice, you didn't notice whether or not he was super fast. Boom, there he is. And a strong second all night.
And you even pointed out, really, he wasn't a sleeper because he did well at the BK. He's done well at several other races, but he's been there in the wings, and that was he shined that day.
Right. The other Northwest guy that did super good was Rusty King.
Yeah.
He was right there. He was getting ready to get in the A's until Schreifels passed him with one to go in his heat race, and something happened to him, and they got by him, but Rusty King shined. I mean, he looked good. He had Shane Smith crew chiefing for him, and then also Shannon Halbert from Diablo Clutches.
Yep.
And so he ran good.
Definitely.
The Iron Man, they crept up on it. They weren't as good as they probably wanted to be, but they crept up on it. Renee was, Berg had Mike Yao doing tires for him. Renee had Robbie Yao doing tires for her. But the one thing that I learned from all this is I don't care how important tires are and how good a prep program you have. It doesn't matter if the rest of it isn't right. That's what I really found out. Because, everybody said, well, hey, you got Robbie Yao and Mike Yao in the pits. You should automatically, it's almost a given, right? Well, no, it's not. And that's what I learned. You still gotta. It just confirmed to me that you still have to have the setup.
Yeah, everything's got to. It all has to come together. It's just not one thing.
Exactly.
Correct. So anyway, we get to the main event, and it's Diotti and Lawrence on the front row. Diotti takes off. Actually, Nathan High was right there too because he jumped in to say he started third, I think. Because he followed Diotti through because he got Lawrence right, and Lawrence ended up getting back by him. But, boy, it was Diotti was gone, basically gone.
You should really talk about their demise. I mean, they fought issues all weekend with hurting the motor and flying the guy in with the jug. Diotti.
Oh yeah. Well, they had the 250, right? And they ran at Hills Ferry, the last one, to get some time on it. And he said, he'll tell you more in the when we talk. But they hurt that 275 jug.
Yeah,
they
broke it.
They weren't sure if they were going to be able to get another one. And Joe didn't even. His car owner, Joe Savana, didn't even kind of was like, man, I don't even know. Is it worth going? So they flew one in overnight, and they got it to Remy at Swedetech, and what's crazy is, nobody touches Diotti, right? It's only those guys. It's either his dad, Troy, or Joe, or Sam, or those. Those are the only hands. You should have seen it. It was like a kindergarten thing. They had all the guys in a big circle around the cart, and here's Remy from Swedetech taking off this barrel and putting on the big barrel. He had a week to do it. He said it was like 30 hours of port work. He did it in a week. Brought it with him on the airplane. Stuck it in. Diotti says, well, I thought we were going to run the 250 first just to see so we can compare. And he looks at him and he says, are we fooling around or what? And Diotti said, no. Okay. So it's on. So they ran the jug and broke it in that practice. And it's amazing. You'll hear what he has to say, but, they got it done.
Yep.
Boy, I mean, the heartbreak of it all was Ronnie. He was
definitely.
I mean, he was on his way to the front. Did he have enough for Ryan? I don't know. I don't know if he was. I mean, maybe
he would have been right there.
He would have. I mean, I think so. But with I don't know what it was. It couldn't have been more than 6-8 laps in.
Yeah, about 8 or 10. Yeah.
The Zeus comes out and the right side panel is just flapping. Right, and it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, it was like me and Lippy were just both going, I mean, all week and nothing, and then this. It's just a Zeus. Wasn't going to hurt anything. I mean, I was kept hoping he was going to either fold it in behind the radiator somehow or, like Lippy said, drive it up against the wall and, smash it.
Yeah, if he and this didn't even occur to me. This was something that Mike Yao said, Robbie's dad. He's like, yeah, when that happens back east, they just fold the panel out and then run it up against the wall and tear it off. Because you can't go down and touch it. You can't go down and pull it off or anything like that. So back east, they just fold it out and hit the wall and knock it off. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. I never thought of that. But,
and your wonderful announcer here forgets that we're, and I'm screaming at Lippy. I said, Lippy, get down there and tear it off, and he's looking at me and he goes, you can't work. I said, it's under yellow. You can work on it. No, I guess you can't.
No, you can't touch
I said, well, it's only under red. So, and Lippy's like, no, I can't go down there and rip it off. I mean, that's how heartbreaking it was.
It was
to see Ronnie go out. So he just pulled out and he got credited with 15th. Terrible. He was a top 2 car easy, I think.
Definitely.
Another interesting thing, I didn't realize this, but did you know Joe Gibb was there? And he was the youngest UAS competitor there at 20 years old. And I think he was even, what size motor did Torres have? Because he borrowed that one from Gresh when they blew theirs up. But I think he had the smallest motor there with a 131.
Yeah, it was 131. Yeah.
Yeah.
Berkey built.
Berkey. Yeah, I said my bad on that, but it's a Berkey billet and twin carb thing. But Joe ran good. I mean, he qualified decent and shoot. I mean, I youngest UAS competitor there. Plus his team won the best looking they had a deal for the best looking crew. I wish more guys would have. UCR looked pretty sharp.
Yes, they did.
I like those shirts. They should have been in the hunt for sure, but nobody else seemed to take notice. But so when it was all said and done, the smoke settled. Berg was right in there, but then he got tangled up with I think it was the 81 of High. Right? They went into the wall.
Yes.
Yes. So High was done after that. Basically, Berg had to go to the back. Not with many laps left, and he charged his way back up through there all the way to 5th. So he made the podium. The other guy that was stellar was Derek Wallace, who finished 4th. What a drive. That was only like his second time in the car ever. It was Mana Sidera's car, and he says, here, I can't go, but I want it there. So here, you take it, go run it. And boy, he did.
Ronnie clarified it was Diotti and Berg on the front row.
Okay.
Or Diotti and High on the front row, excuse me, and Berg and Lawrence in the second row.
That's why. That's how that was. Okay.
So, yeah, that was how that goes. And also a shout-out to Tony Passetti, who showed up tonight on the show.
Right on. And he ran good.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he didn't make the deal, but, I mean, still, first time in the ride, I mean, these things are that's the other thing you'll witness at this place is these things are no joke.
No.
I mean, they are full blown race machines without a doubt.
And watching the video, I mean, that was my first when I first seen the video. I'm going, holy crap! This track here lets these guys get some legs and let them run them.
Weren't they? They were
flying.
I'm
going, whoa!
They were flying.
It was impressive.
Yes, it was.
So
and
you got to have your wits about you when you're doing that much.
Amen, Jeffrey. I mean, this isn't no. Hey, let me run your KT. No, that ain't not happening.
Anybody that's out there got a mile an hour for this weekend? Post it up on there if you got a mile an hour.
I want to say it was 60. High 60s.
Yeah, I was going to say 68, but we'll see if anybody's got a mile an hour on that.
Of course.
Or a G in the corner.
Remember Chase last year? He was up over, I think he was up over 70 miles an hour. I think it was like 74.
And it was like 2 or 3 Gs in the corner. So it'll be interesting. If anybody's got any of that information, post it up on the page there, what you were doing.
Can you imagine? I mean, that's nuts. And these guys most of them don't have a Hans device, and there's no... I don't know if they're using a little arm thing or whatever, but from the open wheel, I mean, it's
You?
So poor Lippy wanted to get out there bad too. He was digging that.
I was jonesing.
Well,
That was
and one of the things that I noticed, and it was something that was coming across that everybody was bragging about too, is the juniors.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
The battle between King and Watkins, I seen.
The last 2 laps were stellar, right? Watkins gets in there, drives it underneath him, and then King comes back the next lap and says, "Oh no, if whatever you can do, I can do better." And he drives. I mean, so it ended up. But you know what I noticed with that was they raced so hard, and they've done this all year. Lippy made this comment there. They raced so hard, but yet they respect one another.
Yeah, and that's what all the posts had said that these two were probably. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
They got the respect for each other all the way around. They're going to push each other, and that's what they're doing.
Yep.
They're pushing each other to be better.
Absolutely. And, the big guys could probably learn a thing or two from these young guys in terms of the respect. I mean, they raced hard. They didn't. There wasn't a whole lot of banging. I didn't think,
There was a little bit of contact there, but
You're gonna have it like that with that type of deal.
It was the race of the year. So yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that King got nominated by Mark Bergfeld for the sportsmanlike conduct for what happened in some of the heat races. He had a clearly faster kart than High did, but he chose not to make the move that would have put him into first place to win one of his heats, because he would have ended up taking out High to do it.
And this was Daniel or James or
This was James King.
Yeah.
So he got nominated right there on sportsmanlike conduct,
And that was worth $100, I mean, it was good to see Mark Bergfeld.
Yep.
We got to meet Brian Rushing and Donnie Austin from Spin Cycle and Bikers Against Bullies. That was cool. I think that no practice thing may have hurt them a little bit.
Definitely did. I was sad to see that. We could have made it through the carb issues that were hanging around that camp if we would have been able to practice that night. But it is what it is. They had obligations to their sponsors, and they needed to get out there and represent, and they did that. And it sounds like it paid dividends for them.
Absolutely. And I want to clarify something too here. Since Carolyn High is on the show, welcome to the show, Carolyn. But our discussion on the timing issue was not pointed at the clientele there. I mean, you can only do what you can do with what you have. It was more of the fact that, hey, these guys are spending boatloads of money. This is the championship event. There is stuff here on the line. So it's imperative that things like this don't happen, because they come prepared and they're ready to go. Had nothing to do with, wasn't upset at Carolyn High or anybody else, just other than, we probably should have made sure that thing was working. I mean, that's all I really wanted to say about it. It just, I don't know. If you're a racer, you got to be saying, "Hey, I came, I did what I needed to do," and it's a big deal. But it is what it is. We got through it. How Carolyn High scores those by hand, I'll never know.
She's a queen.
I would not. I certainly would not want that gig. Even with transponders, I wouldn't want that gig. So she did a great job, and I'm sure she probably thought we were beating her up, but that was not the case at all. It was just, we were just saying, it's a pretty important deal for a lot of people who spend a lot of money in travel and in race stuff. So, but
I think what we were more referring to is, as a traveling series, they should maybe have a traveling scoring system. It wasn't that we were downplaying what they had there. It's just that it is a big event. It is a big race. This is 2 years now, and maybe it's time that the series comes up with their own scoring system that travels with it. Not that we were downplaying anything that happened at AKA, because they did do a phenomenal job and put on a great show with an awesome track. It wasn't that at all. We were merely... It is a big race. It is very competitive, and it deserves a good scoring system that maybe travels with the series.
Absolutely. That couldn't have said it better myself. That was, and Michael Lane brought that up. Maybe, you spend $20 and you get that. But hey, Lippy, you know more than anybody what a logistical nightmare that is.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, it is. And even when you do test your system and get it up and running and everything like that, it's not worry-free. It's just not. It's just the nature of the beast. And when you do want to rely on it, it seems like it's when it always does let you down.
Absolutely.
So,
yep.
we and I run the same system they have down there, so I'm familiar with it, and I know the ins and outs and problems that it may occur.
Right. And so, point here, Carolyn says, Tyler High had a KT on in the feature.
Nice.
So he still ran really good.
Yeah, so did Daniel Watkins. He went through both of his motors and had a KT on for the main, too. So
wow. So then there was some discrepancy on the hard charger. Originally they gave it to Torres, but then they took it back. I think McAllister got it.
If they're going by spots claimed, then yeah, that's probably where it should have landed. I didn't. I seen some of the stuff that came along with that, but I wasn't scoring it, so I didn't know beforehand.
Yeah, I didn't either. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, how can you? I mean, if you come from the B main, does it mean you have to be in the A's to get? I mean, you come from the B main, then you go through that, and your motor, and you go there and you run it with a different motor that's way small. I mean, so very possibly he could have been good for that, right? I mean, that's what I think. But nonetheless, the Northwest Race Report gives the Heartbreak Award to Ronnie Cox.
Definitely Ronnie Cox. Yeah.
That's the goodies headache powder, bummer of the race. Passanante was decent.
Definitely was.
Got tore up a little bit. Renee, she hit somebody late and it screwed her up pretty good. I mean, hurt her foot and put a big old bruise in her leg. But KTs, what do you say? Who's the man? Cody Welker is the man.
He is seriously a racer.
We may need to reconsider that fastest KT on the West Coast. I'd like to see him run somewhere other than Arizona.
Definitely.
I mean, like at the BK to see, but I mean, I believe he'll give Passanante a run for his money for that title.
Oh, yeah, definitely. From what I understand, I think Passanante and a few of the other people might be going back down there for the Classic, and I hope they bring their KTs because he is definitely the rival on the West Coast.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a heck of a show between it was he and what was his name? Because they were going at it. Let me check my notes here. Was it Zimmerman?
Zimmerman was good, yeah, definitely.
Or it was Southern?
Southern was good too. I mean, Welker,
Jimmy High, Justin Beard. I mean,
even Renee. I mean, she missed her final, but she was good out there too. High was good, definitely. Zimmerman was good. I think it was Zimmerman and Welker, and who else was in the top three?
Was it so? I didn't get the KT final, so everybody's so caught up in the deal. But, yeah, Cox wins his heat. Stackman won heat 2. Derek Wallace was second. Joe Gibb was third. Ronnie's heat, it was Fernandez second. Trevor McAllister third. Sam Cervantes, Brian Diotti's teammate, took heat 3. Matt Browning, what a heartbreak for him. He and Southern were tied for the UAS title, and they both broke. Ed Schreifels from Florida was third in the heat 3. Heat 4 was Ron Bowles, Mike Barrios, and Kevin White. Another guy that did an outstanding job.
Yes, definitely.
So, and then Torres wins the B main. Justin Gilbert managed the second, and Angel was third, Southern fourth, Rusty King fifth. So, overall, it was a heck of a show. But Diotti, I hear Joe had tears in his eyes and was, even Rennie from Sweet Tech kind of got choked up, and a lot of hard work.
Yes, definitely.
A lot of hard work
By racers and by the AKA staff. They everybody did a great job, to make it all work. Cody Welker on the show tonight. Just all in all, it was a phenomenal weekend in a great facility.
Absolutely. Welker says it was him, Zimmerman, and the O2, which was Southern.
Southern, okay.
And, boy, how about that crisscross applesauce move
Which
by
one?
Welker to get the lead back late coming, dude, and the dude's like 6'10". I'm thinking, how in the hell does he get into that thing?
Makes it happen.
Welker, you kind of ticked me off, man, because I'm always saying I'm too tall. I can't, Well, he just ex-nayed that excuse.
So you got to think of a new one?
I got to think of a real good new one. Maybe I just don't have what it takes. How about that?
Welker
But,
does.
No, that's honesty. That's not an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, all in all, it was super awesome. They only had two 250s, which kind of stunk. It's too bad, but yeah. Overall, that's pretty good. I mean, that's really good, actually. So, weather couldn't have been better. I mean, it was just, all in all.
No, the weather couldn't have been better. Scott did an awesome job on the track. He worked it all day, diligently working on it. And as soon as the sun set, the track was there. So you really can't complain about that at all. The hot dogs were awesome as usual. And, everything just kind of clicked.
JP says, after helping out at the track, Tim, I'll never complain again.
Everybody should help out.
And that's a fact.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't care where you go.
I worked at Woodburn Drag Strip for 5 years, and all I heard was complaints. They thought you just threw the gate open and went racing.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a lot of stuff that goes on here during the week.
Amen.
And that's what Papa Torres was saying. I caught up with him on Thursday, and he was saying, yeah, a lot of our help is gone. We didn't have, we didn't have, they Torres and a few others did a lot of the work. And so, Lippy, as you well know,
yep,
that can be a trying proposition.
It can be. And, to add insult to injury down there, they wounded their water truck on Saturday afternoon just before we got to get going with the mains.
How'd they do that? What happened?
So something went bad with the motor finally. It just gave out. So we saw it get towed off over the backstretch and into the backfield back there, but the motor is DOA. It's done. Luckily, the motorcycle group that runs down there stepped up and are actually working this week to put a new motor or another motor in their water truck to keep them going, but they're still asking for a little bit of help down there to get all that put back together and reliable and working so that they can, finish all the way through the end of the year, which we know is the big races coming up in December, not to mention the club races and everything that happens between now and then. So, thankfully the motorcycle group did and is stepping up and helping out with that, but they could sure use some more help to to get the water truck going and everything happening down there.
Isn't that the bummer? Here you are at the biggest event thing, right? The thing's been perfect on, then spits 3 rods out the block or whatever it is, and it just never fails. I mean, JP says that's going to kill karting at Hills Ferry. It sounds like the volunteer thing, that's a tough one.
Volunteers are always needed. Always, always, always needed.
Well, it's like when you were talking about it the first year with the ORV and stuff. Like when we used to race the remote control cars indoors. You had no choice. You cornered.
Mandatory.
It's mandatory.
Yep.
You come off the track, you went back out on the track. And almost sometimes you think you might have to put that in to get your corner workers to get the help you need.
Well, see, that's what they used to do at PKA when it was called the Sprocket Benders Kart Club. That's how it was you had to work 2 events. And if you didn't get your points or whatever, So I mean, it was pretty mandatory.
And that's the way it is with quarter midgets too. You have your weekend where you're a judge. You have your weekend where you're a flagger. You have your weekend where you're working corners. It's just the way it is everywhere. And maybe that's what it's going to be coming to with us. And to Cody Welker's deal there, the Frito is my go-to pie. Definitely as far as the hot dogs go. The Frito is my deal.
Mine too. But he came out with the new one with the
barbecue
sauce.
I didn't get to try that one.
Uncle Chuck did. He was all over that. But
yum.
Yeah, and Fernandez was over there. I said, man, Fernandez getting his hot dog on. He says, oh, I wish. I was like, come on, Fernandez. I saw you over there. You must have ate 10 hot dogs. I know you were over there more than once.
Lightweight.
Yeah, but they were good. I mean, bid on I don't know. Are they worth $7? I mean,
I paid for it.
I did too, but, it's part of the deal.
Yum.
Right? So, yeah, super, super, super cool. I mean, I can't say enough. The congrats to Ryan Diotti. I mean, boy, you just can't, you can't, there's no more deserving guy than him to win this deal. I mean, he's worked awful hard, and he brings some just absolutely antiseptic equipment to the racetrack, as so many do.
Well, and you know where I get, and I have a lot of respect for him because he goes and jumps in one of those dwarf cars, and then decides to go fishing and can win a fishing tournament. I mean, is there anything he doesn't win?
You know what he says? He says, it's good to be me. And, yeah. So with that, we're going to, I'm going to try to get this thing queued up here. And, we're going to talk to the winner, Ryan Diotti. And, right after this, quick word from TrueTech.
The 3 most expensive things you'll do in your life are buy a house, educate your kids, and go racing. What you don't need is another expense, and that's why you take your car and tow rigs to TrueTech Automotive to ensure that they are maintained and repaired the right way with the right parts at the right price. And how's this for right? Extended to all racers is the In the Family 25% discount off of all preventative maintenance and repair labor. All you have to do is use the discount code NWRR to save. Now that's right. Get it done the right way, the TrueTech way. TrueTech Automotive, 6900 Northeast Highway 99, Hazeldale, Washington. 360-571-2302.
Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. Oh, baby. So tonight, we have got a super cool guest. Those of you that followed the 2017 Uas Grands, he was dominant, and it is the hitman, Ryan Diotti. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Right on, Terry. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the very beginning. How much preparation did you put into this thing before you even got there?
Oh, man, Terry. I want to say between me, my dad, and Joe and Sam, I mean, I went over to Joe's one day and probably mounted up 25 or 30 brand new tires. That in itself is a ton of work. But then, just between, we had to get the carts ready for Hills Ferry, which was 3 weeks before the Grands, and that was going to be our last shakedown before the Grands. And we get there, we ran okay, we ran second to Brad Berg, but the motor shut off after the checkered. Instead of just dying slowly like it normally does when I let off the gas, it died abruptly. Luckily, Rainey from Sweet Tech, he was already there to help us out, and he was already planning on taking the motor anyway, so we could freshen it up before the Grands. He was going to put a new piston in it, new ring, and then just clean up the cylinder. But we ended up hurting the cylinder, and we didn't find out until a week and a half before the Grands. That was when Rainey finally figured out, hey, this cylinder's hurt. Joe was super dejected. He wasn't happy at all. He was to the point where he's like, is it even worth going? And then my dad got a hold of Rory West at Pro Kart Racing, and he had another 275 cylinder on the shelf. We had that overnighted to Rainey at Sweet Tech. He spent all week porting it, and he brought the cylinder and the piston with him on the airplane. And as soon as he arrived on Friday, he took his 250 barrel and piston off and put on the 275 piston and barrel, and boom, he was eating cookies before practice even started.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I found it kind of humorous because normally nobody touches that car. I mean, it's your dad, it's you, it's Joe, it's, Sam, whoever. But, man, you guys were all around in a circle around the car while he was putting that barrel on. And I'm thinking, dang, dude must be a really big gun for this to be going on.
Yeah, he's pretty much the man. The things that he really, he gets mad when the Micron doesn't work because then he can't go back and look at his data. There's times where he'll hook his laptop up to our ignition box and he's changed the ignition profile and doing all kinds of goofy stuff that I know nothing about. I don't want to know about. He increased our horsepower. He won't give me the exact numbers as far as where we're at now, but somewhere in the 20 to 25 horsepower range.
He increased it 25 horsepower?
From where we were at
Hills Ferry, right?
It's been about this is over the last year or so.
Okay.
He's found about 25 horsepower between the porting on the engine and everything else he does and finding the right pipe and all that good stuff. Looking at about a 25 horsepower increase from where we were a year ago.
Let me ask you, so how does that kind of make Gleason feel? I mean,
it's still a product.
Okay.
I mean, we're still running his cases, still his brainchild, I guess you'd call it.
Right.
But it's just not prepared by him. It's still 100%. It's a Pro Kart product. It's just built and massaged by Sweet Tech.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Boy. I mean, 25. I mean, that's not a mine. I mean, that's a pretty substantial gain.
Yeah, if when we first went and picked the motor up, Rainey showed me the dyno sheet. And granted, this was after he had the motor for about a month. He's found more since then. It seems like every time he gets the motor, he tells us, yeah, I found another 2 horsepower, I found another 3 horsepower. So who knows where we're at now?
And why? What's the secret? Does he not want anybody to know, or what?
He's not interested in racing dynos.
Gotcha.
I mean,
yeah.
He knows the gains he's seeing on his dyno, and that's really all that matters. Pretty much every track we go to now, we're able to go 1 tooth bigger on the clutch everywhere we go now, which is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
If you can go 1 tooth bigger on the clutch and still turn the same RPM, then you're going a few miles an hour faster than you were before.
So the real testament, can you feel it in the seat?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Like I said, anytime you can yank a taller gear and still turn the same or more RPM, like I want to say the first time we went to his engine package, we went up a tooth on the front and we turned 300 RPM more.
Wow.
Which, I mean, that's
huge.
I mean, I don't have, the numbers right in front of me.
Right.
It's a few miles an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a big deal. The guys we were racing against all the time, at that time it was, Chase and Berg and those guys. They definitely noticed it. So it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool to kind of be in the seat and feel it, to give Rainey the feedback and then have him go back. And I mean, we were having issues. We have 3 or 4 pipes that are all supposed to be the same, but then Rainey puts them on his dyno and they aren't all the same. Some will rev past 11,000 no problem, and some won't go past 10.8. So just being able to have him 2 hours away, being able to throw all this stuff at it, have a combination that we know will work when we get to the track, it's pretty big. And that's actually we didn't have that for us in Phoenix because we had our pipe, so he wasn't able to dyno test that cylinder. So he basically ported the cylinder, got to the track, set the squish, bolted it on, and then he didn't touch the motor the rest of the
Wow.
It just, it's pretty incredible that he was able to kind of guesstimate. I mean, it was perfect. That was probably the best combination we've had thus far. As far as the RPM it turned, I can tell a lot by when it stops pulling. And normally, we're somewhere around 11,000, and that motor pulled to 11.2. So that's a good thing in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we don't have a ton of time, I know, but how did that relationship come about?
My dad found them on the internet somehow. I don't really remember. Rainey was going to a road course race, either Laguna Seca or in Marina or something like that. So he was going to be driving by Joe's house on his way home. And Joe said, "Hey, Ryan, this guy's going to be coming by. I think it'd be good for you to be there." So I said, "Okay." So we didn't really stage anything, but we did have a brand new go-kart that we were building, the same kart I ran this weekend. We had that kart in the middle of the shop, and I was kind of putting stuff together, and he showed up, and he kind of got to see our operation, and he decided, "Okay, sure, I'll work on your guys' stuff."
Yeah, I'll bet he did.
Yeah. So then, it just went from there. And I've heard him say he likes his stuff because he actually gets to use his brain and gets to try stuff. Whereas the stock 125 or whatever classes that he runs now, he basically just buys cylinders and puts them on the dyno. And if they're fast, they get used, and if they're not, then they get thrown away. He's not allowed to do anything.
Yes.
He likes that he can play, and I think it's fun for him. It made it fun for him again. He said he was getting bored of that other stuff, so.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's really the main reason why he does it. He's got plenty of work. The last thing he needed was another another project, and I know he really got swamped. He said he had somewhere between 20 and 30 hours in that cylinder, and he had a week to do it.
Wow, dude. Wow. So we go from that. So you get the motor together, and it's kind of like a whew, right? Because I'm sure you were a little bit concerned that you might have to run that other barrel, right?
Yeah, and actually initially that was the plan, was to run the 250 for a session and then put the 275 on, so we kind of know, okay, what was faster. I was at the driver's meeting. I get there and the 250 cylinder is already off, and so I asked Randy, "Hey, I thought we were going to run the 250 cylinder first." He goes, "Well, are we here to mess around?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Okay then." So yeah, we just went straight from 275, and after the races, he told me that he thought we probably could have won with the 250, but we didn't want to take any chances. They make about the same horsepower, but the 275 has got a little bit more torque.
Yes.
Which
is usable. That's what you want, right? I mean, that's what you're.
Yeah, torque is a lot easier to control than horsepower. It's not as light switchy. Come main event time, I wasn't giving it full throttle until I was completely on the straightaway and the kart was completely straight. Half of that was just to save the tires. I was part throttle from before the apex until I was completely on the straightaway next to the wall. Then I finally get to full throttle.
Wow. So you're pretty confident now. Say we had a bigger track. Say I don't know, you weren't at Why Not, but somewhere like that where you can really get out and stretch your legs. Would you be concerned with this motor, or?
I wouldn't be concerned at all. I think there's a few guys in the country that have ran with and beat these big four strokes, on big tracks, and I think it's pretty safe to say that we got one of the fastest two strokes.
Oh, no doubt about it. It certainly looked like it. So you get your motor stuff squared away. You've been doing tires. You've been doing all this prep. So Friday you show up, you get the cylinder on, you go out for that first practice. Were you like, uh-oh, or wow, this thing's pretty good?
That cylinder hadn't been broken in yet, so Rainey pretty much told me, "Hey, just gradually, kind of step it up as you go along." So we had 5 minutes of practice, so I kind of, went out there and I wasn't getting the full throttle until, maybe about halfway down the straightaway, and then we had a couple cautions. I looked at the temperature, and it was, in that 150, 160 range. So I knew the cylinder was nice and expanded. Didn't have to worry about sticking a piston. So then I kind of let her eat a little bit more, but was still pretty much taking it easy. The track didn't have a whole lot of grip. They had the cones way up, so the groove was really narrow. So kind of went out there and shook the kart down. The kart was okay. Went out in the second session, and the kart was still okay. Didn't really want to turn in the center that good. So then, but I was still kind of creeping up on the clutch stall. Our previous cylinders liked lower clutch stall, lower RPM, overall.
Correct.
This one liked more, it liked the clutch to come in later, and it liked to pull longer. So I was still creeping up on the clutch stall. I ended up raising it up about 500 or 600 RPM. So between bumping up the clutch stall, I pulled the second element off the rear wing. So instead of having two elements, I only had one. And then we put the Hoosiers on for the last session. And then the thing was finally rotating in the center really good, to where I didn't really have to, drive it really hard or get on the brakes very hard to get it to turn. So we weren't really sure, okay, was it the Hoosiers? Was it the wing? Was it the clutch? Was it all three? Was it 2 out of 3? We didn't know. So we just left the clutch and the wing for the next day, and we never went back to the Hoosiers. We stayed on
the Vegas.
We stayed on Vegas all day. And that was more just a security blanket because we know we're really familiar with those tires.
Right. Right.
I mean, and we just stayed on those just to be safe. We didn't want to shoot ourselves in the foot at the biggest race, of our go-kart lives up to this point.
Yeah.
So we just ran with what we knew and went for it.
Wow. So then Saturday comes. I mean, that was one of the things we talked about a little bit on Friday. Was you can go out there and you can do a bunch of stuff, but I mean, you shouldn't really chase your tail. I mean, it's just more or less, make sure the tires are going to roll and the steering wheel's going to turn, nothing falls off. But, because Saturday was a whole different game. I mean, so now here comes qualifying at what, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever it was. I mean, it was probably a little bit later after we got through with the shenanigans with that thing. But were you concerned at all because of, wow, we got our numbers late and here we are qualifying early?
Yeah, I mean, we went out and practiced, and we were pretty fast in practice. I still we got 2 sessions. So the first session we went out, we were the first session, the track was still green, and we were, I thought, pretty good. I think we were fastest in our session, in our group. And then the second session, we actually put on our main event tires. I only ran 3 laps. It was just to get a heat cycle on them, and I took it totally easy on them. I mean, got to full throttle by maybe mid straightaway, and then just let off and rolled into the corner. The only thing I wanted to do was get a heat cycle on those tires, which we found helps them last, on a long main event. So we got a heat cycle on the tires. Joe cleaned them up for the main, and we just let him sit. And he didn't wipe another coat of prep on him until we headed up to the grid. And that was just because we knew the track was going to, continue to build bite, which it kind of, I mean, we ran the same lap times all night. We ran 11.5s every time we hit the track, but I don't know, the track seemed like it sped up, but we were also on a lot softer tires and everything for qualifying and the dash. We were in the same set of tires in qualifying and the dash.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the dash, I could feel them kind of starting to give up. We had a little bit more bite built into the tires early. That's probably why we were able to go faster. And then for the main, the track bit up and we put tires didn't have quite as much bite on them. Yeah, we were able to just go out there and just maintain the same lap time.
So you said you were concerned they were giving up. Did you go with that same set, or did you bolt on another set?
No, the qualifying set that we ran in the dash, they had a little bit more love done to them during the week, leading up to the race. Whereas the set we ran for the main event, Joe had played with them, a few weeks out. They didn't have as much done to them. And then Joe was also he was hitting our qualifying tires pretty hard during the day, leading up to qualifying and all that. So they had probably 4 or 5 more wipes on them than our main event tires did. But I did tell Joe after the dash, hey, don't touch those main event tires until it's time, because these qualifying tires are borderline too soft. Oh. So we just kind of kept an eye on it, cut our prep a little bit with Acrosol, wiped the coat on for the main, and let her eat.
So the feature, you were good. I mean, I know High was nudging you a little bit there early, and you just kind of said, oh, okay, I guess it's time to go, and pretty much checked out.
Yeah, we were a little bit. I don't know if I just had to wait for the pressures to come up a little bit or what. We were a tiny bit tight early. We had a little bit of a hop on the right rear in between from when I would let off to get back into the gas. Like right before I start rolling back in the gas, they kind of start to hop on the right rear. Once the pressures came up a little bit and maybe a little bit of that prep wore off, and we were pretty freaking good. I don't, like, if we had to do it again, I don't know what we could changed. Maybe ran a half pound more air in the right rear. But other than that, we were pretty good.
But, you can't always plan for that beginning. I mean, another half a pound, so that might have raised it too much the other way, right? So you might not have been as good late. So.
Right, and that's another thing, too. I mean, we were the last 3 or 4 restarts there. I could feel the cart getting looser and looser and looser, but at the same time, I seen that Brad and Nathan were both – I know Nathan was out of the race. I knew Brad had to go to the back. So, I mean, I kind of was already kind of cruising, but not that the guys that were in second and third didn't – I mean, they were still fast, but we felt like Nathan and Brad were our biggest challengers going into the main.
You take the checkers. What's going through your mind when you take the flag? You cross the stripe. I mean, are you going, oh my God, we just did this?
I saw the flagman put his hand up for 5 to go, and I'm like, okay, no yellows, but I'm counting the laps. So okay, 5 to go, okay, 4 to go. 3 to go, 2 to go, and I went, oh my God, it's the white flag lap. Come on, no yellow. And then the checker filling comes out, and it's like, I screamed in my helmet, hand flew in the air, did some donuts, all that good stuff. And then, and then just to see Joe and Rainey and my dad and Andy and Sam, everybody just so stoked. And, having all the different crew members come up and congratulate me, that's what it's all about. I don't do this for the trophies, or obviously don't do it for the money. It's more for the respect and and that feeling you get when you cross the line first, and then coming home and talking to my son on the phone and hearing how proud he was. And I'm glad he was able to watch it and see it happen. And it's just it's pretty cool, that I get to kind of be his hero. That's my number one right there is just to be my kid's hero. Which I'm sure I'd be his hero either way, but it's kind of cool when you're doing something that only a few people on this planet have ever done.
Oh man, no, there's no doubt. I mean, dude, I mean, hey, I'll tell you right now, you're one of my heroes. I'm not joking, and I am not joking. From the gate, I mean, from the first time I saw you at the Holiday Classic when you said you were coming up to the BK, they put that picture up there, and I'm like, oh no, these guys look bad just standing there, right? So I didn't even know what to say, really. I mean, it was like, what do you ask? Been watching you operate for so long that, man, I mean, all I can say is, nobody deserved this. I don't think more than you did. I mean, you guys work your tail off like a dog, and it's just just everything. Even when you don't win, I mean, it's just awesome. I just couldn't be happier for you. I mean,
I appreciate it, Terry, and I'm just really fortunate that that Joe has the connections and the resources to get the equipment and get the right information. And I mean, a few weeks out, I was kind of worried on the tires, but Joe, he must have a magic 8-ball or something like that, because he called it. He knew. I was really worried it was going to be a dust bowl and it wasn't going to take rubber, and we were going to be out to lunch. But sure enough, it was a little bit dusty, but not really dusty at all. And it took rubber like right now. I couldn't believe practice day how much, we went out like 2 sessions and the track already had, so pretty good layer of rubber on it. And just, pretty incredible that, we were able to unload with the right tires and put the right sauce on them, and, made the right adjustments to the chassis and tire pressure. And I mean, didn't run out of fuel. I mean, we almost ran out of fuel, but we didn't run out of fuel. A lot of things had to go right, for it to happen.
Oh yeah, man. And so many things could go wrong, right? So, I mean, it's crazy. But so before I let you go, I mean, where does this leave Ryan Diotti as far as his karting career?
So we kind of got some unfinished business, I think, up north for the BK. And to be completely honest, I mean, props to Robbie and Mike and Chris and all those guys. They kind of made us look silly last year. I mean, even though I think Eric Stansberry, he probably had the fastest kart. He spun out leading. But Robbie really kind of made us look silly. And I feel like, we've learned a few things between now and then. And I hope he's there, because if we're going to go after this race, obviously we're going to try and win. And if we do win, we want to beat the best. And I feel like he's definitely one of them.
Oh, No doubt. And not only that, you want to join the ranks with Felch and Berg, right? Be the only 2-time winner. That would be pretty. That's saying something there.
It would be pretty cool to be a 2-time winner and win the 10th race. The same, within the same year of winning the national championship. Yeah, it'd be kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it would. So then, because I know your business is booming, so the BK gonna be kind of your shuttle out or your slowdown, or are you still planning on doing some?
Joe's having shoulder surgery next year. At least that's what he's saying. And to be completely honest, I mean, unless things get turned around, locally, like I just can't see chasing points running against 3 or 4 carts. You spend 8 hours or 10 hours the week before a race, and you show up when there's 4 carts there. That isn't very motivating, to go race when I could, be at home, spend time with the family, or working on motors and put money in the bank. So I'd still, if there's some big races, I'd rather go be a trophy hunter instead of a points hunter.
Well, Ryan, man, thanks for taking the time to be on the show. Thanks, just everything you do for the sport, and everything you do for the show and everything. I mean, thank you so much for the help getting down there. I mean, it's just, I don't even know what to say, man, other than you're a true champ in every sense of the word.
I appreciate it, Terry, and I appreciate you and Lippy coming out. You guys did an awesome job, covering the race and getting the behind the scenes and hearing your guys' take on things. It's pretty cool.
Right on, Ryan. Well, man, have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk soon, man. All right?
Sounds good, Terry.
All right, man. Take care. All right, everybody. Ryan Diotti, the 2017 Unlimited All-Star Grand National Champion. Personally, I not a more deserving guy if you really look at what this guy does. His equipment's antiseptic. He's a quality guy. Just can't say enough good. So congratulations to Joe Cervantes, Troy Diotti, Ryan, Sam, the whole gang, Rainey at SwedeTech. Just great job on a job well done. All right, we are back. Pretty cool interview, huh? I can't believe he gives up some of his little tips and secrets. I think it's kind of cool, but I don't know. Would you agree?
Yeah.
He's a true champ.
True champ, definitely.
True champ. Ah, boy. Well, that kind of wraps up our Grand National recap. We got some other business to take care of, for sure. I want to thank everybody. First of all, I want to thank you, Lippy, for just everything down there. Just your willingness to always dive in and try something new, do something new, always helping out, loading up, unloading. I mean, wouldn't be where I'm at without you, or the loader even. I mean, he brings so much to the show that nobody sees really. So I just want to say, thanks a lot, and to all the people that tuned in. I mean, geez, I mean, we were pushing 100 listeners live, which I mean, say what you want. You say 100, wow, it's pretty good. I mean, considering that's not really, we didn't really promote it that much, per se, but it's going to get better. I do know that.
For sure.
So, Jeffrey, what do you got in the way of what else we got?
Well, I got some results from this last weekend around the local area.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Let's do that, because I want to try to get some of the interviews in from Deming too as well. So what do you got, man?
Well, the fact is, we got Deming. I'm going to let's see. I'm going to let Sean have them, because he'll have most of these guys. We're going to go with the Fall Brawl over at Yakima Speedway at what they call Yakadega on the big half mile. Night number 1, Roger Crockett, Chase Getz, and Jared Peterson. In the modifieds, Kyler Moore, Tyson Blood, and Lawrence O'Connor. I'm trying to think of the guy. There was a guy that led most of the race and then lost one of the drive plates on the axle, and the axle slid out.
Oops.
Yeah. Night number 2, Logan Forler. Logan is one of them heavyweight racers that run all over the country, so that was pretty cool to see him. Henry Van Dam and Roger Crockett. Crockett's been driving the Henderson car, the 7N car, and this year he's really did good in that car. And Roger's going to be moving back to the Midwest, taking his business and everything back there, and where he could do some more racing. It's just not enough really racing around here. Most all these guys, if they want to go racing, you go back to Midwest.
Yeah, well, I understand that. There's a lot more tracks and a lot more time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
There's only so many butts here you can kick, too.
Yeah. And then on the mods on the second night, Kyler Moore wins again, which give him the championship for the Washington Modified Tour. B.J. Wild was second, and Zach Simpson was third. And over the weekend there, fact is, the young lady you got her T-shirt on there, Tiana, and BJ got engaged at the racetrack.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dummy. just kidding.
And then South Sound, they had a full plate on the Super Late models. Bob Presley, he takes the win. Tommy Elstrom was second, and Rod Schultz was third. The young man that we've interviewed a couple different times, Tristan Hyder.
Sweet.
He was fifth. He was actually clear up into second, and they started having an electrical gremlin, and ended up falling back to fifth. In the Legends, I'll give you one guess who won that.
Oh, Devin West.
Devin West. Jerry Claybaugh and Jacob Hyder, which is Tristan's cousin, he was third. Hobby Stocks went to Brandon Fisher, Dan Barbos, and Troy Glenn. And the Bees was Dan Walker, Jordan Peterson, and Zandamar Peters. Sunset didn't give no results, but I do know one result from Sunset that was pretty dang cool, and that'd be Miss Queen Bee won her race.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, and she won the dash, too.
She won the dash, second in the heat, and won the main.
Good job, the Clark family.
And what's really, here they are, they're racing there, and Mikey is down in California racing.
Wow, let's take him off and drop him off and head back, huh?
Yeah, well, he's part of that Martinez. I think that's the Martinez deal there. They're all kind of like a team, so they were, helping take care of him and stuff. I think night 1 he got towed off, but I don't know what happened. I never did really catch everything that went on there.
Nice.
I'll go with Deming. He'll have just the winner deals. 1200s went to Steven Hendrickson. Chance Crum was second. Jared Gunderson was third. The 600s, Kyle Mitchell, Chance Crum again, and Tanner Holm. 600 restricted, they had enough to have a B main.
Woo.
And Matty Brown won that, and Ben Ferreira.
Nice.
I was close.
Yes, you were.
And then in the A main and the restricted, Dakota Drake. Man, I've heard that name. She's won a lot. Peyton Hagen and Blaine Gransberg. Junior sprints, Levi Hillier, Justin Jacobson, and Austin Held. And I see that the Constants have been starting to hit the track again. So.
Oh, nice.
Haley,
Summer's over.
Well, they're Haley and I think Wenham, didn't she get a broken wrist or something at school? So they haven't been able to race that much.
Oh, must have been volleyball or something.
Yeah, so they've been kind of. And then hopefully next week I should pretty much have have all the points championships.
Cool deal.
So.
Cool deal.
That, and we'll get back into our chassis segments.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll get into those once the season kind of slows down.
Yep.
Well, shoot. Let's see. Strebe Speedway, Rocket makes it back, and wouldn't you know, he is quick time. He made it with 30 minutes to spare, I guess. 886 is what he went. Kenzie Thomas in 887 and Michael Strebe third, 896. In the dash, it was Michael Strebe, Clint Mines, Rick Sears, and Uncle Chuck. A-Main, Michael Strebe, Kenzie Thomas, Ronnie Cox, Riley Hood, Rick Sears. Name I haven't heard before, Brandon Nutter. You know Brandon? I know he's from over Yakima area, I want to say. Riley Hood led laps 1 through 10. Michael Strebe 11 through 17. Kenzie Thomas led 18 through 21. And then Strebe got by on lap 22 and went on to lead 22 through 30. Hard Chargers went to Michael Strebe +3 and Brandon Nutter +3. So how does it go as far as championship points? Kenzie Thomas is your winner. Michael Strebe comes in second. Third will be Nick Hall. Fourth will be Uncle Chuck Knutson, Riley Hood, Jeff Berry, Rick Sears, Matt Strebe, Steve Tastad, Clint Mines, Ronnie Cox. What is he? What does that make him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11th for Ronnie. 12th is Hood. 13th is Marshall McCoy. Kevin White 14th. Ed Harris 15th. Brandon Nutter 16th. Anna Gallagher 17th. Marissa McCoy 18th. 19th is Lee Collins. 20th is Ross Rankin. Jim Strebe 21st. Owner points. Jet Motorsports is the top of the board there. Michael Strebe in second. Jet Motorsports, their second car, is third, the 3 car. Fourth will be Strebfest Motorsports. Fifth will be Strebfest Hall Motorsports. I don't know how they do that. So, and then Jet Strebfest Motorsports. Uncle Chuck ended up, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Ground Chuck was 8th. R&J Racing 9th. Strebfest Motorsports 10th. Steve Tafstad 11th. UCR and Jet Motorsports 12th.
Whoa. Hey, we got some breaking news.
And what is that?
Well, first I'm going to say she give us a little update on Mikey. Mikey on Saturday started 17th in the main in the sportsman class and ended up 3rd. And then the center biscuit bar broke. And then why they were it says the Bandit Justin DeMars bought the car Mikey's been racing, had bought the car that Mikey's been racing. Mikey has a brand new Jess Turner house car for next year.
He what?
He has a brand new house car from Jess Turner for next year.
Wow.
Whoa.
Congratulations, Mikey. Congratulations, all of you. That's cool.
Well, the Bandit will be something to be reckoned with. He's a shoe. He'll be tough. No doubt. That's awesome.
He's not going to have a house car, though. Woohoo!
I know, right? Woohoo!
Go, Mikey.
Evergreen. Figure eights. Rick Groshans, Jake Repkin, Mike Stelz. Pro 4 Trucks went to Pete Brady, Matt Green, Doug Wilkinson. Stinger 8. Jason Wilson beats, guess who?
Cody.
Hoops was second. Gary Rardon third. Stock figure 8 goes to Steve Cox. Steve Peters second. John Carlson third. They had the Clearwater Saloon and Casino race there for the late models up at Wenatchee. And Mike Knutson wins that. Bart Hector Jr. second. Chad Doc Holliday third. Matt Doyle and Dan Garber, top 5. The Thunder Cars, Jason Ransom, Cody Graham, Trevor Flora, Briar Reynolds, and Mike Sims. The Bandos went to Jody Habart, and Casey Klein was second. And then the Neil Newberry, 125. This was a doozy. I guess on lap 122 of 125, Zamora gets by Constance, who was the leader. Goes on to win it. She set fast time as well. The first female to win this series. And the only other female to win an event was Shannon Minch back in 2006. I've never even heard of her. So it went Zamora, Evans, Brooke Schimmel, Joe Constance ended up 4th, Andy Soul 5th, Braden Haven 6th, the wild one Mitch Klein 7th, Alan Kress 8th, Molly Helmuth 9th, and Chad Holliday 10th. So congratulations to Brittany Zamora. That is huge. She'll be at the Summer Showdown. She'll be at the Montana 200. She's going a little bit more big time.
Double M, actually, you do have a house car. It is at your house.
Hey, NWR family. So glad to hear you guys over the weekend. Really enjoyed it. Glad to hear some racing. I miss you guys. We miss you too. Congrats to Mr. Diotti. Absolutely. Boy, how cool is that for Becca Clark? That's just so awesome. And I'm looking forward to see DeMars get in this big stuff too. But yeah, we got some cool stuff. So, we've got a roving reporter. He's been pretty cool. And so we're going to try to get a few of these in while we can. And he got a word with some of the Strebe Speedway champs. Check out Sean in the Dirt.
Sean in the Dirt here for the Northwest Race Report at Strebe Speedway for Season Championship Day. Kenzie Thomas had a good run. That was a fun main event.
That was a lot of fun. Wish I could have stuck it when I had the lead, but it's a great way to finish the year. It's always fun here. So.
Congratulations on the championship. That's getting the drivers' championship's big, huh? Even in this division.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and people. It's a tiny track, little 5-horse motors, but it's one of the most competitive kinds of racing I've done. And my goal coming out here this season was just always to beat Michael, and I guess, I did a lot of that. So there we go.
What was the big key to winning the championship?
Consistency. I don't think I ever finished worse than 4th this season. So just being consistent. I only got one win this year, but if you can consistently be up there, you're good.
And at this track, anything can happen. We saw that where you took the lead there, and then lap traffic. It's hard to get by him here.
It is, but that's what makes it fun, and that's what keeps us coming back, and that's why it's so competitive. So it's awesome to be here with these people, and Jim let me drive his cart all season. He did a great job keeping it good for me. So.
And you got him a car owner's championship, and he hadn't won one of those.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. And like I said, anybody but Michael.
And you got to race some other stuff. You picked up a car here at the end and got to get back into focus. That's kind of fun.
Yep, planning on a good season with the midgets next year. Mainly going to be doing Deming and Skagit because they're local for me, but I'll travel for the big shows, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Your winner in the final regular season points here at Strebe Speedway, Michael Strebe. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Sean?
Second in the championship this year, huh?
Yeah, second this year. Kenzie Thomas came out and ran my dad's kart all year, and she had a great season, and she was able to come away with the championship. I ran good, but I think I just finished adding up the points. I think I'm 13 points behind, so it was a close battle all season long, and just had a couple bad races at the start of the year that I think cost me.
Yeah, she said anybody but Michael. That was the goal this year.
Yeah, I think that's the whole entire field's goal is anybody but me, but I'll take it. I'm happy with second.
That race was an interesting race with a lot of battles. At the beginning, Rick was leading there and spun out, but he didn't cause the caution, so he got a spot back. And then you lost the lead, and then lap traffic. Yeah, she spun there, and you got the lead back.
Yeah, I think she was actually a little bit better than me today. I was able to pass Riley there and get the lead, and then I don't know, I could see her shadow actually down the front stretch. I could see her shadow gaining on me there, and I knew she was right there, and she was just getting off at turn 2 especially better than me, and just got a run on me, got under, and then I was just following her around. I knew lap traffic was going to be my chance to get her back, and sure enough, car I think changed lanes there in front of her, and she was kind of surprised by that and tried turning back under and got a little sideways. I was able to get the lead back, but she was able to hang on. She was lucky she was able to hang on because she actually did crash there and go to the back. She might have lost the championship out of that deal, so she was lucky she was able to keep it going and end up second there.
And she wins the championship, and you got second, and another year at Strebe Speedway. What a pleasure to come up here, and you guys just have so much fun up here.
Yeah, we have a blast. I think a few of the guys in the back of the main don't always have fun, but I think everyone has a good time. We try to just keep it clean and try to keep it fun for everybody. That's the goal, is just to have fun out here.
What, do you got about 3 more races left on the kart tour?
Yeah, the Street Speedy Kart Tour, which is just a series for just our Briggs 5-horsepower engines. We're going to run Joe's place next week, I think, and then 2 weeks we're back here for a point race for that series here. And then we're going to run the first 2 races at the Monroe Indoor go-kart series there, and that'll wrap up that season for that championship.
All right, well, hopefully the weather cooperates like it did today, because this is, you never know when you get to September and October around here. So congratulations on another year. It's always fun.
Yep, thanks for coming out, Sean.
That wraps up here from Strebe Speedway. Terry, Lippy, Loader, back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Sean, in the dirt. And, Lip, you got anything you want to talk about? You've been sitting kind of...
I do. I have some shout-outs for some of the people that showed up down there in Arizona. Aaron Bell, Jimmy Nettles, and Ed Sherfield. All of them made the haul from Florida, and we appreciate that. They were there in the hunt. They mixed it up. They made it happen. Glad to see those guys. Glad to meet them. They were hard chargers, and they were there to do business. Justin Gilbert and Terry Hollerfield were also some long hauls from South. Where were they? South Carolina? Or?
North Carolina. Right around the Charlotte area, yeah.
Yeah, both of those guys, long haul, came there for business. Matt Browning, who was in the hunt.
Great guy.
Yeah, super great guy. Had a ton of fun in his pit. He did a great job, put on a great show, and had a good showing. So good to see him. Good to meet him. And Mike Barrios, Barrios, also from Michigan, I think it was.
Yeah, North Branch, Michigan.
The 13B. Shout out to all those guys for making the long haul, making it happen, and head down racing. It was good to see him, good to meet him, and hope we can turn around and head back out there and support some of their shows.
Well, that's funny you say that, because that's exactly what they said. They said, hey, we kind of just tell those West Coast guys we made the trip out, so hopefully somebody can go back there. For all the bad that Facebook gets, for some of the stuff, there's a lot of good there too. You know what I mean? As far as all the people we met, we got to meet in person.
There's tons more than that.
Yeah, Michael Lane, all those guys. Jimmy White, some of the big players, even in the UAS thing, that weren't there, but they were on the video and watching us do our stuff. So yeah, it was super cool, man. Super cool.
It was great to see Tim Chase and the
Spin Cycle, Brian Rushing.
I'm still trying to think of the other one that I'm looking for.
Mark Bergfeld was there, the founding father.
Yep, definitely good to see him.
Shannon Halbert, Joe Gibb. I mean, there was just a zillion of them. Like
who's who?
Yeah, it was a who's who. Really, Scott Bowley. I mean, just a ton of Yao, Mike Yao, Robbie Yao.
Those two were a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. Tim Lawrence. I mean, can't say enough. That's the quietest second I've ever heard, right? Ever seen.
For sure.
So, big shout out to
Ford. That's who I was.
Oh, Ford Cook. Yeah.
Ford Cook. Good to see him again.
Yeah. He was a photo bomber in a couple. Did you see the one of Stackman's?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it all in all, it was a good thing. And, I just, again, I want to reassure Carolyn that, I wasn't her that. No, I mean, it wasn't her fault for sure.
Everybody with AKA the Arizona Karting Association worked their tail off last weekend. They gave us a great track, great facility, and did the best with what they had for sure.
Absolutely. I don't know. What could you have changed? I mean, there was nothing you could have changed.
No. It all in all, it was a great weekend.
Other than maybe shorten the trip by about 12 hours, that would have been all right. But it was all in all. Even the road trip was cool, right? I mean, seeing that guy snoring in his car with it still running at the casino, and Biles winning $250 on his he puts a 20 in. I'm going to do it before
20.
we go. Yeah. Then he hands me. He says, "I want to contribute to." I'm thinking, "All right." He hands me a voucher. It's 25 cents.
It was good times.
Yeah, and I appreciate Bergfeld too for, even though it was last year's, but he brought my award out here, the Sportsman of the Year award. But I got to say, like I said, that's not all me. That's a lot on you guys too.
It's us.
It is us for sure. So yeah, Sean in the Dirt. Thanks for your report. We'll probably get yours in next week. I've got it saved here, so we'll start off with that, and we'll get some of the words from the people at Deming this week. Don't want to keep you guys over too much. So what's on tap? I think Fall Classic this weekend at Yakima. There's racing at Rainier. Final event there for Rainier. And then we got, probably 3 weeks off, and then the indoor starts at Salem. And I would say to everybody, they've shortened the Speedway season up, right? It looks like. So, man, you guys, let's show them what we got. I mean, for sure. Let's show them what we got. And with that, somebody's on the bottom. What do you got to do?
Head to the high side.
Absolutely. Racing. It's preparation. It's focus. It's attention to detail. And when you try to take shortcuts, it shows. At Speed City, Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, distributor for Ultramax, Legend, QRC, Bell Helmets, and K1 race gear, they don't roll like that. Speed City is committed to roll the way champions roll, by keeping racers on track with knowledge, integrity, and performance. No shortcuts, no negativity, no other motives. You don't just have their word on it, you've got their name on it. So get back to having fun and get to calling Speed City. Speed City, LLC, keeping racers on track with quality service and friendship. 541-531-1222.